Best, if I may. And I'll just go through that memo that I prepared fairly quickly. In seeking support of Prop S in April of 2006, the Board of Aldermen approved Resolution number 05-19, which was passed and signed on March 26. The stated purpose of Prop S was for the city to retire its debt with Southwest Bank and to eliminate its need for its ongoing line of credit from the same bank. And that's what the first whereas in that resolution is those two items. The resolution does not contain any statement about providing additional cash to the city for other services. That phrase, which is in the ordinance, which you also receive a copy of, was there at the recommendation, a suggestion of the city attorney, because in the conversation at that time, it was realized that the board was did not have a crystal ball to the point where it could assess the tax, the exact penny or dollar of the amount borrowed. So that's why that additional phrase is in the ballot language. But as you will notice, it is not in the resolution. That resolution was supposed to be reaffirmed on an annual basis. That has never been done. I would propose doing it this evening. In October of 2006, the city secured a $2.87 million loan from Royal Bank. And if you'll go to the cash reports that were given to the board at that time, you will see on the September 30th report that the general fund balance was $2,135. That's the fifth line down on that September 30th cash balance report. On the report for the following month, that same fund, the general fund, had a cash balance of $780,000. So clearly that $700,000+ came from the money borrowed from the bank in that prior to in the month of October there. That is further supported by the graphs, the charts. One of the charts is labeled October 2006. The last balance that was provided to the Board of Aldermen was on October the 17th. In that table there, the total amount that was owed to the bank was $1.9 million. If you take the 1.9 and add another 800,000 to it, that's 2.7 million. That's the bulk of the $2.8 million that was borrowed from the bank. You also have a chart there that shows the history of the loan from the bank, and if you look at that chart, you will see that the largest amount that was ever borrowed from the bank at any one time was a total of $2.9 million. So that's kind of the history. That chart that goes from the history chart that goes from November of 2005 through October of 2006. That shows that the largest amount outstanding at any one time was a total of $2.9 million. And again, that balance was down to 1.9 when the loan was made from when the money was borrowed from the bank. So clearly, that close to $800,000 was to establish the cash reserve and to provide money to the city to operate and eliminate its need for an ongoing line of credit. And the city has not even had to think about an ongoing line of credit since the inception of Prop S. So I think clearly that the two purposes for Prop S have been met. On March 1st of this year, the final payment on Prop S was made, and we ought to be celebrating right now. Does anybody bring the champagne? Okay, so the questions that then on Prop S is, when should that Prop S tax be retired? And I've presented 3 cases for that. The first case is that the loan has been paid off, the tax should be retired effective immediately. That is a position that I think one could validly argue. The next position that can be taken is that since that loan that payoff required roughly $1.1 million to be borrowed from, or to that amount be prepaid from the general fund, and that was done in order to preserve the tax-exempt status of that loan. And it was at a saving of interest of something over $200,000 that benefit to the city to pay that, to maintain the tax-exempt status of that loan. The position has also been taken, okay, that second position then would, as I tried to show earlier, would require assessment of the Prop S tax through the year 2011, at which time there would be a fraction one way or the other as far as the balance is concerned. The third position that one could argue is that the tax should continue until its sunset in 2012 because our finances have been adversely affected over the last couple of years. So I open it up for discussion, but my intention is that the board should reaffirm its resolution 0519 after discussion, and that the board should also indicate its intent as far as where to go with either terminating or extending the Prop S tax. So with that, I would ask the mayor to see if there's any further discussion, and when this discussion is complete, then I would like to move on those questions.
Alderman Duncan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, Alderman Miguel, I would like to thank you for pulling this information together and showing it to us. However, I think we have to be respectful of everyone's time, and I do my due diligence by reading these reports and preparing for this meeting, and I don't know that I need to have it read to me and reiterated. But I think it's a valuable exercise to have gone through prior to the meeting, and so I know where I stand. And I would think that, in my opinion, terminating it now is not the proper thing to do, but I think it should be up to discussion B and C. Thanks.
Alderman Pickle.
Thank you. I would echo Alderman Duncan's comments. I also, in reference to the question of should the board reaffirm Resolution 5-19, I can appreciate the sentiment there, but as you read that, it says, whereas the city needs additional income to retire its debt with Southwest Bank and to eliminate its need for ongoing line of credit with the same bank. Yes, I think you can argue that that's been fulfilled. However, here we are, 4 years later, and we still have a significant amount that needs to be repaid to the general fund. So, to reaffirm Proposition 5-19 as it's written, I don't think is appropriate given today's circumstances.
Is it all?
Yes.